Good morning, wherever you are watching us from. My name is Garba Afis Olumide. I'm welcoming you to another show that we are going to be hosting in this year 2025. And today we have a message for our farmers because I'll be having a guest in the studio today. Maybe you are just meeting our content today, probably you are just watching us today. This is Voice of the Farmer, where we celebrate, educate, and promote farmers. When we say we educate and promote farmers, we give farmers information that is really going to assist them in making them to be more productive and get more profits. Yes, I'm welcoming you once again to our show today on Voice of the Farmer, where we celebrate, educate, and promote farmers. What we just want from you is just keep listening to us and keep helping us to share this post, keep liking and keep reacting. I want to believe and I know you are going to learn one or two things today on our show this morning. Either you are a farmer, you are an existing farmer, or you are an agricultural enthusiast. You just want to know how the food you eat are being grown. I bet it with you this morning you are going to learn a lot of things from our show this morning. Because I'm going to be talking about planning. Yes, planning. Do you remember there is a popular saying that say anybody that fails to plan is planning to fail? Yes, this year is still fresh. This is the second day in the year 2025. Today is January 2, 2025. But that doesn't mean you should not start planning what you want to do today. And remember, as a farmer, you should always plan before you do anything. If you are going to plant in January, you should start planning by maybe, let me say, November or December. It's very bad for you as a farmer for you to start planning when you want to start planting. When you are planning when you want to start planting, it is very, very wrong. The best thing for you to do is also you should plan ahead of planting. You should plan ahead of doing anything you want to do. That will make you to know the next line of action for you to take. And you'll be able to make more money from what you want to do as well. Remember, one of the things that is very important for us as a farmer is for us to understand our market. And these are part of the things that you need to do when it comes to planning and farming activities. Either you are a crop farmer or you are a livestock farmer, we all need to plan what we want to do. And that is why we are going to be talking about the planning activities in the farming activities. But today we are going to be talking more to our vegetable farmers. But notwithstanding, we are going to branch and broaden our discussion into our livestock farmers as well. But remember, I said we are going to be talking about planning today, planning in farming activities. How important it is for you to plan before you start farming. Yes, we have a good weather, we have a good soil in our country. Then why are we finding it difficult to cultivate in our land? Or why are we not even getting the product? Or let me say, why are we not getting the proceed? Or let me say, the results we are supposed to get? Sometimes when we have a poor planning, then what are you expecting? If you are a crop farmer, a vegetable farmer, or you do anything related to agriculture, I think this show is the best one for you to stay glued to and listen to us. Because we are going to learn one or two things today on our show. We'll be talking about planning in farming activities, either for crop farmers or for livestock farmers. And also remember that we say we should also diversify as well. Maybe you are a livestock farmer. Don't say because we are not talking about livestock this morning, you are not going to listen to our show. Remember, I do advise you that you should diversify into other things as well. So if you are thinking about diversification, then the best thing for you is to listen to this show. Yes, I have inside the studio with me one of my brother, a partner in progress, that will be talking to us today about what we need to know when it comes to farming, when it comes to planning, when it comes to what we need to do when it comes to planning. Maybe you are just joining us for the first time on our show. This is Voice of the Farmer, where we celebrate, educate, and promote farmers. When we say we educate farmers, our education or giving them information is what is going to make them to be more productive and get more profit in what they do. I want to believe this is not the first time you are meeting my brother, you are meeting a friend of mine. This is 2025. I say a very big thank you to you for 2024. When it comes to impact and assisting farmers, yes, my brother is there. Because that is what he loves doing, and that is why I always love to partner with him and work with him when it comes to assisting farmers. And today we are going to do the next thing, yes, the best thing we know how to do today as well, to give our farmers information about what they need to know when it comes to planning. So I will go straight to him and ask him, well, probably some people might have forgotten his name, probably maybe it's been a while, maybe they hear from him on the show. So let's hear from him, sir. May we meet you, sir, for the sake of people listening to us.
Hey, our great listeners out there, Happy New Year. Welcome to 2025, the year we have been waiting for. My name is Emeka Christian, and I am all about food security. Whatever that has to do with food security, count me in. And I'm particularly in the area of vegetable farming. It's good to be on the show this morning, and it's good to have you watching us this morning. Thank you.
I want to believe, as he introduced himself, definitely we all remember that, yes, when it comes to food security, he's one of the champions that help us. He's just passionate about agriculture.
Yeah.
And that is what we are going to be doing today as well. We are going to be giving information to our farmers. One thing I believe in life is just that a life of no impact is a life of no value. You need to continue making impact in farmers' life. Because I believe when there is no farmer, there is no nation. Now let us go straight to our discussion today. We are talking about maybe planning.
Yeah.
This is the year 2025, and most of our farmers are thinking of going into something You know, I believe if anybody wants to plant anything by January or February, they should have started planning since last year.
Right.
You know, that is what we call. So, but in your own layman language, or let me say, as an expert in what you do, what will you say planning is?
Yeah, so when you talk about planning in farming, planning entails all the things that goes into your preparation to have a fulfilling year, a profitable farming project. And this goes from your market research, your product decision, what product do I want to, what farm produce do I want to have at the end of this period. So that will even determine the way you plan. For example, if you're planning for a long-term crop, your planning is different from when you're planning for a short-term crop.
Okay.
So this whole thing about planning is all that goes into preparing to have a bountiful harvest. And it goes from market research, as I said. It also even goes to the extent of deciding who will I work with. I was working with a client recently, and the client had many dreams of what she wanted to do. The big question that redefined everything she shared in her plan is, who would you work with? Do you have workers? Do you have the team to make this happen? So farming is everything that goes into preparing to have a bountiful and profitable farming project.
I love the aspect where you say market, because
Yeah.
you know some of the problem we are having currently in agriculture is market. You know, I someone posted something I didn't did for yesterday, maybe a comment on one of my posts, and say there's no market to. Like they have produce, they have farm produce, but there's nowhere to sell it to. I was like, wow, this is a serious matter. But you know, one of the things that is going to help us to tackle that is what we call planning, and that's what we're going to be talking about today on our show. Remember, I know and I believe that people say when you plan to fail, you are definitely failing. You are planning to fail.
Sure.
That means you are going to fail. When you fail to plan, you are planning to fail. It's just like definitely you need to plan ahead of what you want to do, and that's what we are going to be discussing about on our show today. If you are a vegetable farmer, I think this is the best show for you to listen to. You know, when you're talking about market, if you are planting tomato at this moment now, I think you are doing the wrong thing. I think you are doing the wrong thing. You cannot plant tomato at this moment because, you know, people are bringing something from the north. Aboki are doing that stuff. No, so that means you will not be able to make more profit. So we'll be talking more about that when we get to Mr. Emeka. So now let me go straight to you. You know, this is dry season now, and I see you to be an advocate for maybe hunger should not be maybe let me say food production should not be seasonal. You're talking about irrigation. You're talking about so at this particular period that we have now, which is dry season. You know, when you go outside, maybe by 12 or 10, you like the sun is too hot or something. So what this is going to be part of planning as well. So what plants or let me say what crop do you think our farmers can cultivate at this moment and they are going to make more money? Because you know when we are giving anything on our show here, we are talking about profitability and productivity as well. So anything that they are going to do that they will make money from. So what do you think our farmers can do at the moment, either a crop farmer or a livestock farmer, that they can do at the moment?
You know, I believe that we should farm all year round. And if I begin to say plant this and don't plant this, I will be contradicting myself, you know, in that whole thing about farming all season. So that's where science came in. Science came in to give us climate resilient crops.
Okay.
And even animals that are heat resistant are being bred today. So it brings me back to the point of hybrid seeds again, hybrid animals. You know, animals that you know their sources, traceable species, right? So whatever you want to plant, you may not get the maximum in terms of maybe yield based on your agronomic practices. But to a great extent, if you follow what the necessary steps you need to follow, you can still make, you know, serious profit. I say this because there are some factors beyond our control that affect our productivity in agriculture, and that is climate. Yeah, it is beyond our control. So one of the reasons why, for example, we tell people, please, if you're planting these crops, so you're going to have to put in extra effort, is because factors like climate change are beyond our control. So even if you want to plant tomato, now, even if you want to plant some crops now, the heat in the atmosphere is so much. So that way, you have to put in extra effort to bring out, a good yield and result. So based on that and based on market demands, you have to consider crops like vegetable. Yeah, some vegetables are selling like mad in the market, and these vegetables are not too difficult, provided you have water source. So vegetables like ugu, for those of them in Nigeria, is called ugu pumpkin. And you have vegetables like cucumber, or all of these other vegetables, you can plant them. Then there are vegetables that thrive best in greenhouse at this time, which includes tomatoes, bell pepper, and all of that. So if you have the resources, you can go for these other ones if you have the greenhouse. But even if you don't have the greenhouse, you can still plant something. You can plant cucumber plant, you can plant vegetables, because some of these crops have been developed to be climate resistant. No matter how hot the environment gets, they become like they thrive. So all I will say is just please start with hybrid seeds. If you must plant vegetables this season, please ensure you plant hybrid seeds, because they've been bred to resist hot temperatures. Thank you.
Maybe you are just joining us for the first time on our show this morning. This is Voice of the Farmer, where we celebrate, educate, and promote farmers. And this morning we are giving you information about what you need to know when it comes to planning and farming activities. And we have in the studio with us Mr. Emeka Christian, and giving us some information about what we need to do when it comes to planning and farming activities. You know, he started by defining what planning means. You know, he said it's something that you need to put in place before you even start. Looking into the marketing aspect of it as well, the kind of seed that you're going to plant, the land preparation, and some other stuff as well. And I asked a question that what crop, or let me say what are the things that our farmer can go into at this moment, because we are in dry season at the moment. One of the things he said is that even before you decide on what to do, you make sure you plant crops that are climate resistant. Probably that, you know, anything that is, maybe, you know, we are in the dry season now, anything that you want to plant should be hybrid seed that have been treated, that have been worked on, that can resist maybe this climate that we have now. But I still want to go back to you and ask you, I remember I said we are talking about how people can make money at this moment now, and you said something about water. Now, how do you think, it is very difficult. I know some farmers, especially some vegetable farmers, they stop working at the moment because they don't have access to water. So what do you think the farmers should do when it comes to irrigation aspects? What are the things, what are the solutions? I know you still go to point down to climate smart solution, maybe talking about the solar pump or something like that. So what do you think the farmers can do? Because these are part of planning as well. Because if you go and plant vegetables and you don't have access to water, definitely you are going to lose. But now, what are the things you think farmers should do when it comes to irrigation system? It is very, very important. So you as an expert, give us an idea on what we can do as a farmer to, when it comes to irrigation aspects.
Yeah, that's a very important topic, and that's why you discover that I'm very passionate about smallholder farmers, because every other value chain of agriculture holds because there's a farmer in the field. Without a farmer in the field, the processor won't have anything to process. The marketer won't have anything to market. So that's why the conversation we're having is very important. And now imagine where the smallholder farmer, be he poultry farmer, animal farmer, even vegetable farmer, he's not producing at the moment. What becomes of the other value chain? They become non-functional. So that's why the question of how to help farmers produce across season is a very important one. I feel everybody should even put heads together and find solutions to it. And as you rightly said, many farmers are out of the farm, and it's affecting several things, particularly the prices, because the millionaire farmers will go, produce it, and there's limited quantity in the market. They hike the price. We have no option than to buy. So it has to go back to. I want to mention the government at this point, because truth is that individuals, there's a limit to what you can do. But the government, there's a lot the government can do in partnership with individuals and organizations. It has to be with the current power condition in the country. We can't really rely on our national grid. So that's why it's now right that we start thinking of alternative energy sources. And at this time, let me even make a call to our Nigerian scholars who are out there in the field researching on solutions and all. Can you also think around sustainable solutions as it has to do with biogas? In Nigeria, we generate a lot of waste. In fact, if you go to major market, I see resources that can feed a biodigester and release energy that can be used to even power systems. So these are avenues we have to start exploring. Now, solar is expensive because they are mostly produced abroad and exported into Nigeria. Yeah, but how about this energy from waste? How about, people come together, put hands together and say, look, we want to do a massive biodigester. It won't cost us, maybe it won't cost us so much in terms of maybe feeding the distance, because we generate waste already in the country. So that way we can begin to solve this challenge from a local point of view, right? So even if farmers' capacity can be built to do these things for themselves, because one beautiful thing about farmers is that they learn so fast.
Exactly.
If farmers learn, they adapt.
Yes, that is something that is going to help their production.
Exactly. So how about we have a system of training these people on how to create basic biogas that can power small pumping systems? It will be a boost to whatever they're doing. So considering cost, considering other factors beyond our control, I feel there's a little hope in this regard. Conversion of waste to power. So that could be something to explore this year, 2025.
Yes, thank you very much for that aspect. To be sincere with you, I never even thought maybe think about something like that as well. To talking about the biodigester, so maybe using waste. Because I was about to talk about the solar aspect of it. Because I saw a machine, I think maybe a few days ago, and I was trying to maybe make inquiry about how much does that cost. And someone is telling me 850,000, someone is telling me 1.2 million. I was like, do you think smallholder farmer can afford this?
That's the big question.
Because now it's not as if maybe the one-time payment might look somehow expensive to us, or maybe using it might make them to make a lot of profit. But at the moment, getting that machine is very, very expensive.
Even if you want to pay in bits, right? The depreciation that goes into it.
Exactly.
But by the time you are done paying, the machine is no longer effective.
Exactly.
To do your work.
So now, what I would just, because according to what you said about people that research as well, even if you are looking into the biogas, the biodigest system, I think it's a good one, because going to my 12 alone, when you see the waste we have there, I know very soon we are going to go to that market to see what is happening there. Yes, I'll go maybe anytime soon just to see what is happening there and what are the opportunities that we can definitely get from there, because we can definitely make wealth from waste. Yes, we can make wealth from waste as well. So, but looking at the solar aspect of the thing, yes, we are saying solar is sustainable, but to me, they are too expensive. Because it is not just meant for smallholder farmers alone. People that go for solar. I visited a farm in Kano. Everything they do in that farm is solar.
Wow.
Even going to the automatic feeder that they have, they use solar machine to power it. And can you see how powerful that is going to be? So I'm not looking at, do you have any smallholder farmer that can even afford this? So we are calling on government to assist us in this regard, because if you are coming up with any solution or maybe any empowerment, let's look into aspect of maybe empowering our farmers with maybe solar pumping machine, or we now make research and build capacity on the aspect of biogas or maybe a biodigest or something like that. So let us just go on this short break. I'll be right back.
Voice. Can they hear him? Can they hear me? Maybe towards the end. Maybe towards the end, you announce that we are coming up with a project, farmer sports, something like that. Put on my mic again.
If you are just joining us on this live show, this is Voice of the Farmer, where we educate, promote, and celebrate farmers. And we are having a conversation with Mr. Emeka Christian. I want to tell you that this is not going to be the last time Mr. Emeka is going to be coming to the show. It's going to be a frequent discussion when it comes to assisting our farmers on what they can do. And today we are talking about planning and what are the things you can do before you even start doing anything. What are the planning activities that you need to do? So we made mention about irrigation system. We are talking about solar and some other stuff. But I was saying solar is very, very expensive at the moment. Not all smallholder farmers can even afford to buy that. So we are now calling on government or maybe on researchers on what they can do in allowing us to turn waste to wealth. You agree with me that any international market, or let me say any major market, have, let me say, bountiful waste that you can definitely, even, and there was a time I went to Oyingo market, I saw a lot of bananas did that. You can even turn to a lot of things. So because we need power, we cannot depend on our national grid, cannot depend on electricity, because we know the kind of country that we have. So I'll be going straight back to Mr. Emeka, and this is what we're going to be rounding up with. So what advice do you have for our farmers at the moment now? What are the things that you think they should do? Yes, I know all of us are going through a lot of things at the moment. Looking at the fueling aspect, I think this is the time that we are buying a fuel even above 1,000 naira per liter. It has never happened to me since I've been in this country, but now it's happening now. So, but how do you have a farmer that has like maybe 2 or 3 or 4 acres of land and is going to maybe water the vegetables that he has, and they need like 10 liters of fuel to do that? That is 10,000 naira. Removing it from the cost of production, even before you even finish everything, you have spent a lot of money. And then we cannot depend on fueling. Even the solar we are talking about is something else again. So what will be your advice to our farmers out there on what they can do in finding the solution to this problem? But because we can't say because these are problems we are not going to eat. We need to keep producing. So what would be your advice to our farmers out there on what to do?
So it's a very difficult one, right? Because somebody cannot sustain production in large expanse of land. There's no place about it. So this now makes me to raise a call at this time for individuals, even more farmers, to come in. I say this because if you are producing in a half lot of land, because that's the size you can irrigate manually.
Okay.
And that farmer is producing, maybe it's that small chunk, right? And you're able to manage. It will bring about compounding effect in the market. Because if you tell a farmer, please don't farm at all because you cannot irrigate, that becomes counterproductive in the long run in the open market. So I therefore call on everybody to get involved in your little way if you can. You have the space, you have the land space, you have the home garden space to raise again. Please start from somewhere. So it brings about compounded effect because we are looking at the full picture of our national food system, our Nigerian food system. That's what we're looking at. How do we sustain the food system from collapsing? So the good way to do that in the face of all of these challenges is for many people to come into the system, create a balance. Create a balance that brings about availability in the market, that people are not hungry. People have, at least with their limited money, they have things to buy. Because there's a state where it comes to, you have the money, but you cannot see the product to buy.
Yes.
So to stop that, farmers have to maybe, the smaller farmers who are farming already should take it maybe easy, taking into consideration their health. Because when you say, look, I want to maintain this large expanse, and you're stressing yourself, before the year gets to maybe the third quarter, you might have spent all your strength. So the best you can do is just do what you can. Just take it in chunks, okay?
Yes, thank you very much for that. Thank you very much. Now, I think this is one of the things that we need to tell our farmers. I do say this, that at the moment, if you cannot sustain what you have, why not reducing your production? Maybe you are doing an acre before and you think you don't have that capacity because of some things, some factors. They definitely reduce it to maybe half a plot or something, at least so that you'll be able to maintain and sustain what you're doing. Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Emeka. I know this is let me say unplanned event, so definitely we did not plan for it. It's just like, okay, because we are passionate about our farmers and that is why we are giving them this information. I believe our next show is going to be a planned one where we are going to have a robust discussion about a particular thing I want to talk about. But at the moment, I want to tell our people about some of the things that we are going to be doing this year. Some of our plans in this year, which is what we need to tell our people. The first one is talking about our farmers game. Remember last year we did it, that was around March, April, where we bring farmers together in the poultry aspect, in the poultry sector and in the fish sector as well, where they play game, volleyball, football and some other stuff like that. This year as well we are going to be doing it bigger, but not in Badagry, in Ikorodu. So I'm telling you that yes, if you are in Ikorodu and you have interest in this, once we are ready to do that, we are going to roll out the form and probably go to the association as well. So just watch out for some of the things that we are going to be doing this year. But one of the biggest one is this project that we call Farmers Game. It's going to be a big one in Ikorodu. Just watch out for that. And also, our Every School Must Own a Farm is also taking shape again. We are trying to come out back in another dimension and making it bigger as well, so that we'll be able to make impact in our schools as well. Yes, this is one of the things I wanted to know on in this year 2025 we are going to be doing on our show and on our brand as well. Yes, thank you very much for joining us and for helping us to watch this show and also sharing and liking and commenting. I want to believe in one way or the other you've learned one or two things. So if you are thinking of going into anything this time around, probably even if it is livestock or maybe animal, or maybe crop, just make sure you go for climate smart, maybe anything that is climate resistant now, so that they'll be able to withstand maybe the stress or maybe the heat as well. Till I come away next time, my name is Garuba Fusolumdi once again. I want to say a very big thank you to our guest that we don't even plan he's going to come on our show this morning, but thank you very much. Anytime we call on you, you always answer us. So I believe if we call you next time, you're definitely going to answer us as well. Am I right?
Yes, of course. It's always a pleasure to touch base here with our viewers.
Yes, till I come away next time, my name is Garuba Fusolumdi once again. I say bye bye and God bless.
Right.
So it's going to keep getting better.
Okay, you're up now.
Yes. So I'll just go and stop it there. So every Mondays, maybe when our meeting, I will talk.
I would like me with one robustly. There is something I applied for last year. The thing they didn't give me a positive response.